The information presented in this video is the assimilation of knowledge acquired from listening to countless hours of podcasts by the following inspirational individuals: Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss, Rhonda Patrick, Dom D'Agostino, and Chris Kresser. Thank you. Please note that the information presented in this video is for educational purposes only and under no circumstance is to be taken as medical advice. This video is designed for Prove It promoters to share as a go-to video to help people understand the benefits of taking exogenous ketones. So let's start with the basic question: what is ketosis? And let's look at this from an evolutionary biological perspective. It is generally accepted that modern human beings, in the form of Homo sapiens, first appeared in Africa somewhere around 50 to 60,000 years ago. For the majority of our evolution, we have been hunter-gatherers. So like most mammals, we have been opportunistic eaters for most of our evolution, which essentially means if there was food around, we ate it. However, if there was no food around, we would naturally shift into burning fats as our preferred fuel source. This system for energy production is inherent within most mammals. A great example would be a bear, gorging on salmon and blueberries while they are available, and then living off their stored body fat over winter when the food is scarce. For ease of articulation, I'm going to make some generalizations here. Over the last 50 or so years, dependent on geographic location, the rise of industrial agriculture has created an environment where the majority of people in the Western world no longer experience periods without food. This, combined with our ever-increasing addiction to fast foods, refined sugars and carbohydrates, has created an environment where most people's bodies run exclusively on glucose. I'm going to leave my rant on nutrition and hot tips to be a better human being here, and I'm going to address this in a future video. The takeaway point here is this: we have a system within us which is more efficient at fueling our bodies that is actually dormant within most people as a result of diet and lifestyle. Per gram of carbohydrate or protein we burn, we get 4 calories or energy units in return. Per gram of fats, however, we get 9. So burning fats as a fuel source is actually over twice as efficient. Now let's break down the human body both anatomically and physiologically to understand why it is of benefit to be utilizing exogenous ketones. So anatomically. Anatomically, we have trillions of cells. These cells make up tissues, tissues make up organs, organs make up systems that create us as a whole. Now physiologically, we are no more than a skin-bound sack of chemical reactions. From this moment here to this moment here, as you've been watching this video, you have had trillions upon trillions of chemical reactions occur in your body. For most people, over the last 50 years in the Western world, these trillions upon trillions of chemical reactions that occur every day have been fueled exclusively by glucose. Now back to the meat of this video, exogenous ketones and why they're of benefit to us. Now, apart from the obvious anecdotal effects that most people describe when taking this product of increased energy, improved mood, mental clarity, fat loss and sleep, let's look at some science. It is fairly well accepted among academics in the field of functional medicine that the suppression of systemic inflammation is the single most important driver for successful longevity. Burning exogenous ketones as a fuel source has massive systemic anti-inflammatory effects, which lends to reason that the maintenance of this state in the long term will have net positive effects in both the prevention and recovery from a wide spectrum of illness and disease. The therapeutic benefits of being in a state of ketosis achieved by fasting can be dated back to around 400 BC, when physicians in ancient Greece treated a variety of diseases, including epilepsy, through the absence of food and drink. The classic ketogenic diet was developed in the early 1920s as a therapeutic intervention for pediatric epilepsy, and it was used with great success until around the mid-1930s. At this point, ketosis as a dietary intervention pretty much just fell out of favour, and this was as a result of the rise of big pharma in conventional medicine and the prescription of anticonvulsant drugs. Traditionally, there have been two ways of achieving a state of nutritional ketosis. The first so would be to put yourself in a ketogenic diet, which depending on the source, consists of around 75% fats, 20% protein, and around 5% carbohydrates. Now this diet is incredibly limiting and not really accessible to most people in today's culinary climate. Then on top of the diet, you would still need to exercise like a rhinoceros beetle to burn through any carbs or protein in your system that essentially guard your fat from being burned. The second way to achieve ketosis would be by fasting. So once glycogen stores are depleted in your liver, lipase is released. These lipases liberate free fatty acids from your adipose or fat tissue. These free fatty acids are then transported to your liver where they are converted to ketone bodies. These ketone bodies can now be used as a fuel source. There are 3 different types of ketone bodies, but for the purpose of this video, we will only be referring to one, which is beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is the active ketone body in exogenous ketone supplementation. Around 3 years ago, in a joint research effort between NASA and the American Defense Force, scientists discovered a 3rd way for the human body to enter ketosis. By supplementing BHB within a patented formula, we could now bypass the human body's natural system for producing ketones for the very first time. We could now take an exogenous ketone body, put it directly in the bloodstream, and create a dual fuel source. At this point, I'm going to bring to light a very common misconception about ketosis when taking an exogenous ketone supplement. That misconception being that we are burning either glucose or ketones in isolation. Now this is simply not the case. What we are now dealing with is a dual fuel system. Now we have trillions of cells in our bodies, and these cells have intelligence. Some of your cells will function better using ketones, and other cells will function better on glucose. When both ketones and glucose are available as a fuel source, around 80% of your brain, all of your muscles, including your heart, will preferentially utilize ketones as their source of energy. Now this ties in perfectly with the characteristic anecdotal evidence of increased energy and mental cognition that most people experience when taking this product. Besides, it makes sense to fuel your brain with the breakdown products of fat, as your brain is primarily made up of fat. Now this is a very important point, and I don't think many people realize just how incredible this is yet. Through the application of science, we now have a more efficient and cleaner burning energy source than at any point in our evolutionary history. And it's science, motherfucker. Seriously, this is some Star Trek shit. Babies are born into ketosis, and they maintain this state whilst breastfeeding. This is a natural state for human beings, and it is now accessible to everyone without fasting or making any major lifestyle changes. Whilst writing the script for this film, I had one of those lightning bolt inspiration kind of moments. I mean, there is a massive market that's been completely untapped here. You know who you are, you're the preppers. In the very unlikely case of a zombie apocalypse, there is nothing I would like to possess more than a healthy stockpile of exogenous ketones. Look at this. This is months worth of fuel for the human body. One bag, months worth of fuel. If there is a more portable, longer lasting and accessible fuel source for the human body, please let me know in the comments below. Anyways, tag your prepper mates in this video, because once they understand it, it's a no-brainer. So that brings us to the end of our comprehensive introduction to exogenous ketones. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If so, please like and subscribe to our channel. If you would like to experience the game-changing benefits of exogenous ketones, please follow the Powerful Change link in the description below. Until next time, breathe deep, seek peace, massive love.